Okay, so what we're going to do in this demonstration, we're going to show you how to create a tool. So tools are commands that we can run on servers that we can monitor or manage. There could be web links that we can configure, launch web pages. The advantage of tools is it means you can run these commands without giving somebody direct access to the system. So I'm going to create a tool that will just do a simple ping, and we'll get it to ping something and then capture the output of the command. So to configure a tool, you go into the management server, you go right hand click on Operations Manager, go Configure Tools. Okay, and then from here we can create tools or tool groups. So I'm going to create a tool group. So I click on Tools, go right hand mouse button, New Tool Group, and I'm going to call the group My Tools. Okay, next thing we do is we then go into it and we can create a tool within it. So I'm going to go into My Tools and create a new tool. And then from here you give the tool a name. So I'm going to call this Ping Check. Now, when you create these tools, you can also allow the tools to be available when you click on a message in the message browser. So I'm going to select that option there. And then in the details section, you specify what the tool does. So the options you have is you can create an executable. So this is where you run an external command. You can embed within a tool embedded VB or JavaScript, or a Windows scripting host, a Perl script, or you can make the URL. The two that you'll be working with are executables and URLs. So go for executable. Then we can specify that the command generates output. So when we run the command, the output that it generates can be captured as in an output window. Whether you want to allow operators to be able to change certain parameters of the command or not, as the case may be, and whether you want operators to be able to change the user account that the tool logs into the system as, and whether they need to type a password before they can execute the tool. So they're the four options there. So I put the command in, ping. Now what's really handy here is we can pass these commands parameters. So I'm going to run ping, and then I want to pass the parameter. So the parameter I'm going to pass it is the host name of the machine that I launched the tool against. So what you can do is you click in the parameters tab, click the drop down window, and then from here you get a list of variables that you can use. So if I select a node, then I want to put in there the primary node host name. So you can see it puts a variable in here. So all these built in what we call OMW variables. They all start with a $sign and they're all uppercase. So $OPC nodes will be swapped out for the host name of the machine or machines that we've selected when we launch this tool. So that's the command we're going to run. So we're going to ping that, and then in the target field we can specify here where do we want the command to actually be executed from. So we can have the ping command executed from the management server. We can have it executed from the machine that we have selected in the GUI, or we can have it run from a predefined list of machines, or we can execute the command from our local system. We'll do one of these now in a sec. I'm going to ask it to run that ping command from the management server. We can specify who it runs as. So if you leave it as default, then it will run as the user account that the OMW server is running as on the server. So when you stick an OMW agent on a machine, it runs as a system account. They're the accounts that this command would run under. Or I can specify that I run under a specific user account, and then I can specify the passwords here that it needs to use to authenticate. So I'll get it to run as the user account. Click OK. Click OK. Now what I can do is I can associate that tool with a certain node group. So I can go to Configure, Nodes, click on the node group that we created yesterday, go right hand mouse button, Properties, and then from here I can say that any machine that's a member of this node group, I can launch that tool against them. Sound like a stuck CD. Okay. What does one of them sound like, Steve? Okay, let me just stop.